What's up, guys? Welcome back to Healthy Recipe. We're going to be bringing another keto recipe today. We're going to be making chow mein, actually beef chow mein, but we're not going to be using any noodles. We're going to be using zoodles from zucchini, and we're going to be using a whole bunch of veggies to make it even more delicious. We're using some bottom round beef, thinly sliced. It's going to be phenomenal, so let's get right to work. Okay, so this is what we got for ingredients today. I have 1.5 pounds of grass-fed beef. This is actually bottom round, which is a cheaper cut. I get a pretty good deal on it, so for recipes like this is perfect. Very affordable. I have about 2 cups of portobello mushrooms cut in half and then thinly sliced. I have about a 1/4 cup of red onion minced, about 6 or 7 cloves of garlic finely minced, and it's fresh garlic also. About a thumb-sized piece of ginger minced also, about the same size as the garlic. Soy sauce. I'm using all natural peanut butter to kind of thicken the sauce and sweeten it a little bit. Usually when they make chow mein, they actually use sugar and they use cornstarch to thicken the sauce. We can't use any of that because we're doing a keto recipe and it's supposed to be a healthy recipe. So what we're using in order to sweeten it and thicken it a little bit is actually all natural peanut butter to give it some nice peanutty flavor that will go perfect with sesame oil and the soy sauce. They'll play very well together. And we're going to be using, instead of cornstarch, we're going to be using coconut flour, which actually dries up whatever you put it on. It pulls moisture, and also it will help us to thicken it a little bit, act kind of like a cornstarch. Then we got zoodles. If you guys are new to the channel and don't know what zoodles are, I put a link in the iCard above in the right hand corner about how to make these. You need a little device, and it's just zucchini that's been cut into noodles. I have about 2 cups of broccoli flowerets that I just trimmed, and I'm using organic extra virgin coconut oil to saute with in the beginning. Then for the finishing flavor, I will be using some of my hot chili oil. This is basically peanut oil that has hot chili flakes cooked in it, and then I finish it off with sesame oil to give it some of that nutty flavor. I'll also put that recipe on the iCard above. You guys can use regular sesame oil if you don't like the heat, but I add this in the end because if you cook with this, it will lose a lot of its properties and it will lose its flavor. So you want to add this at the end once everything's stir-fried already, just for flavoring. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our meat and we're going to marinate it and add some of that coconut flour, and that'll help absorb some of the moisture. I'm just going to be using soy sauce, and the serving size for this coconut flour is 2 tablespoons. I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon now on the meat and then another one later to thicken the sauce. As you can see, this is absorbed already, all of that moisture. It's going to sweeten it a little bit too. It's got a little bit of a sweet taste to it. It has very little carbs. For the whole recipe, we're using 2 tablespoons, which is going to give us a total of 4 net carbs. Add a little bit more. And we're just going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and get over to our wok and start working on our aromatics. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop a tablespoon of coconut oil in the wok, and we're going to run it on high heat, 400 degrees. Now that our oil is hot enough, we're going to go ahead and drop our garlic first. Onion. Just want to let it sweat a little bit. Soften up just for like 1 or 2 minutes. Now we're going to start adding our meat. Just a little bit at a time so we don't overcrowd the wok. And the smell is already unbelievable. Just that ginger combined with the garlic and the soy sauce, when it gets cooking, open your appetite right up. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to take this out, and we're gonna go ahead and add some new coconut oil in and saute our veggies and then add it back in. I separate the juice from the meat, and then I'm gonna add a little bit back in just so I can get it to where I want it. About another tablespoon of coconut oil. Now in here, we're just gonna soften up our mushrooms and our broccoli. And when you're using zucchini noodles, guys, this stuff is like afraid of fire. You can't even get it close to fire before it overcooks. So you just want to kind of like always throw it in last and just to let a little bit of steam touch it, and it's going to soften right up. If you leave it in and you saute it for too long, it's going to turn into total mush. And that's all we want. We want just to soften up the mushrooms and the broccoli a little bit, depending on how you like it. But I like my vegetables with texture, with a little crunch. Just like them just softened up just a tiny bit. Still got that bright color on the broccoli, but it's softened up. So now we're gonna go ahead and add the meat back in that we drained. Now all that juice from the aromatics that were in the meat is gonna transfer to our mushrooms and our broccoli. I'm gonna go ahead and drop 1 tablespoon of peanut butter in here. And I'm gonna mix it with some of the steak juice first to dilute it. So basically I have a tablespoon of the peanut butter there, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of the steak juice to loosen it up, and then I'm just gonna put it in. This is gonna give a ton of flavor. It's gonna act, a little bit as a sweetener instead of sugar, which is what the traditional recipe gets. So we're adding some nice healthy fats in here, and we're also sweetening it a little bit. Now we're gonna add another tablespoon of our coconut flour and a little bit more of the steak juice, so it gets a little thicker. As you can see, there's the steak juice, and I see how it turns almost into a roux right away? That's what we want. See how thick? It's like a paste. Now we're gonna add a little bit of that just to thicken things up a bit. This coconut flour is great for doing stuff like this, for keto recipes. Now it's ready for our zoodles, and then we're gonna do our final touch, which is the oil. Stir it in. And I wish you guys could smell this right now. It's amazing. And the final touch on this is that sesame oil. Is gonna give it an incredible flavor. The finishing touch. Trust me guys, this has nothing to envy from real chow mein. Combination of flavor here is amazing. Okay, so there it is guys. There is my beef chow mein keto recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna top it off with just a little bit of jalapeno mixed to add a little bit of extra heat. And I'm gonna go over it with a little bit of my hot chili oil. I hope you guys liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up if you did, and share it with your friends and family. Remember to subscribe if you hadn't already, and hit that bell so you can get new updates whenever we have new videos up. I'll see you guys real soon on the next one. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a try and see how it is. I can tell you that it smells so good. The meat is super flavorful and tender. I can't even believe how tender it came out. I sliced it pretty thin, but I don't know if maybe the coconut flour has some kind of tenderizing effect. The flavor is excellent. It really has all those Asian flavors. The peanut butter added that little bit of peanut flavor in there. It's got a nice kick to it with that chili oil. The nutty flavor of the sesame seeds also in there. Totally delicious and an awesome add-on to any keto diet.